Welcome to Business Trainings, talking you through the most important steps of starting, maintaining, and succeeding in small and medium-sized business. I'm Jeremiah, and this is Business Resiliency. Life and business is unpredictable. You never know what will happen at any point in time or how the future will look. And this applies not just to our personal lives, but also to our professional ones. Especially when it comes to businesses, it is hard to predict precisely what condition or challenge you might have to face moving forward that could become a hurdle for business productivity and revenue. One of the more recent examples is the COVID-19 pandemic that disrupted lives across the globe and halted businesses in their tracks and forced them to adapt to a completely new world of consumer demands. The ones who had the right strategies and resources to support them survived. At the same time, the fragility of many business systems was exposed, and thousands of businesses worldwide closed because of the lack of planning and resources to tackle the new conditions that did not allow them to withstand or quickly adapt to the unpredictability of the disruption. That is why every business needs to be ready to face any shock that the future might throw at it, and recover from it with minimum damage. And that is what this video is all about. Here, we will talk about economic resiliency in terms of business operations and how to plan for disasters so that you can get ahead of the issues before they completely disrupt your business. So you must be wondering, what exactly is economic resiliency? Well, it is the ability of any business, whether big or small, to withstand a shock or, even better, adapt and thrive in the face of it. But regardless of how important this sounds, many businesses neglect the planning needed to be more resilient. Disasters can include everything from natural disasters like earthquakes, hurricanes, fires, to human-caused disruptions like cyber attacks, death of a CEO, workplace accidents, or power outages, or even unexpected downturns in the economy across your local markets as well as the world. Any of these has the potential to affect your business in some way and set you back. The first step is assessment. You need to know what the greatest risks to your business are, recognizing that there will be unidentified risks, and identify your business goals, critical functions that need to be protected, and key resources that support these functions. There are mainly 6 critical assets to your business that need to be protected: operations, inventory, equipment, building, people, and data. Identifying them and their risks will help you develop a business resiliency plan. This is how your business can be protected, maintained, and recover when disruptions do arise. It is important to develop a plan that will help you identify where the potential damage areas are and how to structure your resources in the most beneficial way. This will allow your business to withstand shocks or quickly adapt during disruptions, as not every business can afford significant downtime, especially small ones. For your business resiliency plan, you will need to prioritize what functions are the most important to your business and where your resources lie. Then, evaluate potential threats for each. Create an impact analysis so you can see the scale of what a disruption to a critical business function might be on your business. Next, you should draft an emergency action plan, or an EAP. Ideally, this will outline a set of objectives your business can use to combat hazards that you've identified in the assessment. It outlines what you should do in the event of an emergency and should be tailored to your business and the hazards you are most likely to encounter. At a minimum, your plan should include emergency procedures, a communication plan, and a succession plan. Ensure you include an objective focus on training employees to be ready for any emergencies. Preferably, create a manual of step-by-step emergency procedures for them to follow when they are faced with an emergency at work. Ensure everyone knows what their responsibilities are and what they need to be looking out for in any situation. You will also need to keep a good communication plan to tell your employees, team, partners, clients, and communities about any emergencies and give them an easy way to communicate and coordinate when facing tough times. Ensure that you have up-to-date contact information for everyone. Look at both internal communications and prepare for questions from employees like, are they still going to have a job? When and where will they report to? How will their roles change? as well as external communications to plan when and how to reach out to external sources such as customers, distributors, and the media. Also, ensure that you're able to communicate through several different channels. In the event of an emergency, cellular and internet service may not be available, so consider other means of communication that may need to be used. Again, ensure that your team knows what their responsibilities are in implementing the plan. The next thing to plan for is protecting your data. Keep your data backed up in an off-site location, as well as evaluate how often you need to back up your data and follow the schedule religiously. Data storage is cheap, but data loss can be very costly. Always test your backups, learn how to recover them, and integrate a backup back into your business operations. Save your legal documents, contracts, insurance plans, lease, financial records, inventory lists, contact lists, customer order history, etc., all on the backup and keep them safe. Also consider how to keep your data safe from cyber threats. Protect your server from breaches, especially if you allow remote access. This can be made possible with regular firewall updates and installing strong anti-theft and security software. When it comes to malware for phishing, always verify links through additional avenues before you use those links on devices where the important data is kept. Also, ensure that you set strong passwords and security layers to avoid outsiders from getting in. Make sure there is more than one access point so that you are never left without a way to get in at any time. To be more resilient, you will also need to have insurance. Insurance will support your recovery from disruptions. Build a strong relationship with your insurance agent and regularly communicate with them about everything important for your business and discuss everything that can be insured. Look at everything from physical damage like destruction of inventory or buildings to non-physical business interruptions like data loss, etc. Some businesses might need to work with more than one insurance company to cover everything important, but that is worth the effort. You will be very relieved when you know that some of the financial damage can be recovered. Make sure you keep an updated record of all your assets, equipment, inventory, structures, and data. Take pictures of your rooms, areas, equipment that might sustain damage for insurance purposes. If any disaster takes place, claim them as soon as possible. Now that you know how to prepare for a disruption, there also needs to be a plan for the future. This is called a succession plan, and it should outline strategies for continued operations when the company's leadership changes. You should plan for contingencies and outline strategic options for both growth and exit. Succession planning should be an ongoing effort. Start with a discovery process. Here, you need to define and align your goals and establish a timeline for what your business needs to look at a certain point in the future. It will also cover a transition readiness assessment, owner interviews, and the amount of time and effort needed to make it happen, and much more. You should integrate critical team members in your succession plan. You should also take time for tax planning, managing succession, and value enhancement strategies. Plan all the important aspects, and your succession from the business will be smooth, undisruptive, and stress-free. Lastly, cash management is a key component of a business's financial stability. Your business should have detailed and accurate profit-loss statements and balance sheet income statements. It is a good business practice to have detailed cash flow statements that are projected by at least 3 months. By monitoring cash flow and having detailed statements, you will be able to plan for cash flow shortages and eventually recover from any shocks one step at a time. Also, make sure that these records are very easy to access. A financial accountant or financial planner can play an important role in keeping your business safe during emergencies and disasters. They can help you align things in a way that would ensure you have a healthy financial environment during any crisis. But it does not mean that you should rely on them to tell you how your business is doing. Figuring that out is your job alone. Remember to focus on the bigger picture along with managing the day-to-day operations. Apart from yourself and your employees, also think about your customers and your vendors. Remember that in tough times, you're not the only one struggling. Your vendors might be having a hard time too, which could impact your supply chain. At this point, you should be understanding and adaptable in case you need to change some of your vendor relationships and terms. This might also be an opportunity to get inventory cheaper. Try to negotiate better terms that work for both of you and your vendors and do not disrupt your recovery plans. You might also be able to renegotiate existing loans or get deferrals even from your lenders if they are also facing the wrath of the crisis and are desperate for cash. If needed, connect with your local economic development organizations and ask them for help with gap funding or non-conventional loans. When it comes to clients in crisis, you want them to be even more strongly bound to your business than any competitors. This includes evaluating your pricing strategy and margins if needed to incentivize them to spend more and enrich your cash flow. Even if you make less or no profits for a while, it is still better than not matching even your cost of goods you have bought and the time spent procuring them. Play on your strengths. Know why people buy from you, what makes you different, and highlight these points as much as possible to improve business. And finally, always know the value of what you are spending before you spend it. This means thinking hard about every penny you spend on your business and knowing how that adds value to the present or the future. Avoid long contracts as much as possible, as they might become a problem if you were to face a financial crisis suddenly. Be cautious when spending and put as much money as possible in the investments that will be helpful in either growing your business or keeping it safe in the tough times. The most important thing in the face of disaster is to stay afloat and never lose your will and hope. Make sure you take care of yourself and your employees. Your business will only work as well as you do. Good and talented people are the most important asset and the hardest to replace. If you are calm and prepared, your business will be okay.